It's Mike Brennan, and yes, another segment on MITechTV. Here we are in mid-May already. Hard to believe the year is rapidly going by. And so, what we have today, well, we have Melih Oztalay. He's also my business partner on News, and we appreciate all of his wisdom in the area of marketing, and that's what he's going to be talking about today: marketing infrastructure that converts and how to build a digital foundation for, yes, once again, AI success. As AI seems to be everywhere. I know what SmartFinds Marketing is, but a lot of folks may not. So, what is SmartFinds Marketing and where are you located?
All right. So first of all, we're a 38-year-old award-winning agency out of Michigan, and we're located in downtown Birmingham. It's been a long ride, guys, as you can imagine. I started the internet group back in '94, and then we went 100% digital in 2004. We've had a few brands along the way, but Smart Finds has been running now for over 20 years under our corporate umbrella. We're a 360 marketing agency, right? So we got creative, we got tech, we got marketing, we got writers. Everybody's in Detroit, so that's the good news. And the teams have all been working together now for 14 years, believe it or not. All right, after the financial crisis. And so it's been a long ride, but everybody gets, we're all moving forward. I think the biggest issue, though, is to change with the times, right? And I don't remember if talked about this, my concept of my four A's, right? So you have to anticipate change, you have to accept change, you have to adapt to the changes, and then you have to adopt the changes. And this is the world that we live in with technology starting from the IBM PC when it first came out in 1980. This is, here we are X number of years later, and all we can do is just keep changing. And so artificial intelligence, even since November 22, when ChatGPT kind of came to the world, so to speak, I mean, what we've seen here in the last 6 months alone, is mind-boggling. And so, literally companies, individuals are going to ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, etc., and they're searching there. And I've done it myself, and I find the results much better suited, number one, and two, faster,
Hmm.
faster than Google. And so when we talk about marketing infrastructure, this is what we need now, right? So let's continue the conversation from what we had a month ago on AI and lead generation. And that's all, that's great. But in order to make any of this work, you've got to have that foundation in order for AI to actually can do something for you. So
So,
that's where we're going to talk about today.
what do you mean by marketing infrastructure? Why do you think so many businesses struggle with?
Well, I think that what they're struggling with is the fact that there's nothing sexy about marketing infrastructure. And it's time consuming. Well, I shouldn't say it's time consuming as much as it requires labor time. Okay. So what are we talking about? We're talking about your website. We're talking about the content of your website, your blog posts, for example, or your PDFs. We're talking about the search engine optimization of your website, your internal linking strategy, your on-page SEO, your off-page SEO, right? We're talking about what you're doing in social media. We're talking about your press releases. We're talking about your newsletters, your LinkedIn company profile, your individual profiles. That's all content. That's the infrastructure. And more importantly, when we're talking about infrastructure, we're also talking about the fact that the message across all of these has to be uniform, has to be the same.
Hmm.
What we don't want is one piece of your infrastructure saying one thing and the other one saying something else. There's got to be a way for all of this to work together. And this is how AI grabs information and identifies, who you are and identifies how and what type of business to send in your direction.
So, what happens when you don't have the marketing infrastructure in place?
Well, then what ends up? I mean, you know what? The best case scenario I have for everybody is go to ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or Copilot, pick any one of them you want, and type in who do you recommend for whatever products and services you have. Okay, and see what it comes back with. And then your next question, because there's a high probability you won't show up, right? So your next question after that is why doesn't my company, and identify your company name along with your website address, and come up in your recommendations? Okay, that's your second prompt. Find out what it comes back with. That's when you're going to be able to identify exactly what it is that you need to do. Um, Ultimately you don't want to waste your time, and I honestly I don't suggest for anybody to go off and start building their own infrastructure without understanding what it is that the AI engines are looking for. um, that's number one. And number two, find out what it is that they want from you specifically, catered, tailored to your specific situation. So you don't want to waste your time. And I think that the best case scenario is to go, and ask the question directly.
Okay. So what do you think are the most essential pieces that businesses should have in place before
Right.
trying to scale marketing with AI?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a core categories. Let's call them categories. So I'm not going to suggest that these are your activities, but these are your categories. Number one is you need a website that has all the different things I mentioned earlier, right? SEO, on page, off page, your blog posts, your content, your landing pages, your product pages, your services pages, your about us, blah blah blah. All that has to be ready to do before you can even get started. The other thing to keep in mind is make sure that your website is at least prepped as best as you can initially to convert the website visitors. There's AI tools for that, number one. Number two, you want to use conversion rate optimization to be able to identify how to improve your website's conversion readiness, so to speak. But that's number one. Number two, we talked about earlier, SEO. But along with SEO plus AI, you get GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. So you need the various, what we call the technical backend schema that's going to build onto your SEO, GEO foundation. Um, the third thing is your content engine. And what I mean by that is be ready to start, getting content out to the masses, right? Your blog posts, your social posts, your images, your PDFs, your presentations, right? Your press releases. Make sure this engine is ready to keep it up with the same amount of frequency and consistency. And that I think is turns into be the hardest part for a lot of people. Somebody might be able to do one blog post this week, and then all of a sudden, 3 weeks later, they've done nothing. And so, my suggestion is get as much content ready before before this process actually begins to work for you. And last but not least, once you start getting leads in, and whether they're coming direct from AI, whether they're coming from the emails, whether your website, whatever the case is, what type of a follow-up system do you have? Meaning, what's your CRM look like? Essentially, what you need to do is build that infrastructure before you can start putting AI on top of it.
Boy, as somebody who used to write a weekly column, I can certainly relate to what you just said about somebody
Yeah,
writing a blog post and then struggling to come up with another one in within a 5 day or a week-long period.
right. Exactly.
Uh,
And a lot of businesses miss that, unfortunately, just to have that level of content built out. And look, developing your content nowadays is even faster with AI. Go to ChatGPT and ask it to create a blog post for you and provide you all the SEO work, and you can create 5 blog posts that are 650 words, literally in less than 30 minutes. Why not take advantage of it?
Sure.
Indeed. So you've helped clients grow their lead generation significantly. Can you walk us through a real world case, how you helped a client succeed?
Yeah, so we have a client that's been with us since mid 2023. They're in the technology sector. They had even though it's a US based company out of Chicago, their primary audience was coming from Europe and other parts of the world. They're a 20-year-old company. It's hard to tell exactly why that happened, but in any case, they're trying to figure out how do I build, the infrastructure, our client list in the United States. So again, what did we do in the first 6 months of 2023 from July to December was we built the infrastructure. We made sure we had all of our content ready. We made sure the website was up and ready. Did our SEO, our GEO, our schema, everything was done in those 6 months. Um, so what happened from January 2024 to December 2024 is a case study that we actually released back in February this year as a press release showing what we were able to accomplish. And what we were able to do is have a 70% lead growth success. In most cases, especially for the United States, we went from 2 leads a day that they were getting, bumping it up to 5 leads a day in the United States. And again, this was all based on building that foundation in the first 6 months. Now, was a client thrilled about us building this foundation? No, not really. Again, building this infrastructure is not very sexy. I mean, it's not like you're running video ads and, you got various colorful images and information being presented to the world. Before you get to that point, you got to build that infrastructure. But once it's done, it's amazing how that engine works.
Okay. So, if someone who happens to be watching this right now wants to get started, without being overwhelmed, hopefully, what's
Yeah.
one thing they can do this week?
Like, I'm going to go back to what I recommended earlier. Go to ChatGPT and find out why you don't show up in the recommendations.
Hmm.
But I think that's the best scenario because you're not guessing. ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude are going to actually tell you we can't recommend you because we don't have this types of information, right? And again, they'll point out things like press releases. They're going to point out things like what's going on with the SEO of your website. They're going to point out the fact, do you have a Wikipedia page? Which I believe me, I understand that's the hardest one to get into. But these are the types of recommendations they're going to make. And it's up to you to build that out. And as you build it out, go back to ChatGPT or whatever chatbot that you're using and ask the question again. These are the things I've done. Are these sufficient? And just keep asking, keep working through that list. That's the best case scenario. You're not going to waste your time and you're getting it right from the horse's mouth.